Welcome to Conflict News 24. Some news stories for you. Firstly, Ukraine is accusing Iran that Iranian drone operators are in Belarus. And secondly, Russian defense chief today talked to defense ministers of four countries. Why? And thirdly, Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the UK, has pulled out of the race for new Prime Minister of the country. And lastly, Donald Trump wants to run once again for the President of the US. Firstly, Russia-Ukraine conflict viewers. Iranian drones are in operation in the conflict being used by Russian forces. Iran denies, Russia denies, Ukraine is sharing evidence, it is sharing pictures, videos. It has invited UN experts to visit Ukraine and see the evidence of the use of Iranian drones by Russian forces. Today, Ukrainian military officials claimed that Iranian drone operators are training Russian drone operators, Russian soldiers in Belarus. In Belarus, we know that joint Russia-Belarus military command, regional military command has been established, and hundreds of Russian soldiers have been seen arriving in Belarus in recent days. Though there is no likelihood of any attack on Ukraine from Belarus. Earlier, it was being said that Belarus and Russia were making preparations to attack Ukraine, but now what is being confirmed by most experts is that Belarus is sending weapons to Russia. It is helping Russian forces by sending tanks, ammunition from Belarus to Russia. So, no likelihood of Russia-Belarus attack on Ukraine. But Belarus is hosting Russian military. Joint regional military command has been established, and in Belarus, Iranian drone operators have arrived who are training Russian soldiers. Whenever these countries which export drones to other countries, they mostly send their drone operators too. Why? Because the drone operators train the drone operators of the countries which have bought the drones. And secondly, these countries which are selling drones want their drones to perform in the battlefield. That is how the repute of these drones is established. Like Turkey, when Turkey sells its TB2s, it trains drone operators of the countries to which it sells drones. Secondly, Turkey provides maintenance after sales as well. So the purpose is to ensure the Turkish drones operate effectively in the battlefield. That is what Iran does as well, and it isn't surprising that Iranian drone operators are in Belarus and perhaps in Russia as well, training Russian drone operators and ensuring that Iranian kamikaze Shahed 136 drones and Mohajer 6 combat drones are used effectively by Russian forces against Ukraine. Ukraine is finding it difficult to counter these Iranian drones. Ukraine is requesting for air defense systems from EU, NATO, and US, but are there any effective anti-drone systems against which are effective against kamikaze Iranian drones? That also remains to be seen. Overall, Ukraine Ukraine forces are suffering losses due to the introduction of Iranian drones by Russian forces. Secondly, viewers, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu today talked over the phone with four countries' defense ministers. Sergei Shoigu talked to American, British, Turkish, and French defense ministers. Why? Sergei Shoigu sent a message to the four countries through this telephone call that Ukraine is allegedly making preparations to use a dirty bomb. Ukraine will use this bomb and blame will be put on Russia, that Russia has used a nuclear device, it has used nuclear bomb against Ukraine. A small dirty bomb could be used by Ukraine. That is what is being said by Russia. Ukraine has rejected Russian allegations. Ukraine said that Russia is making preparations to blow up Kakhovka hydroelectric power project in Kherson, and that Russians want to withdraw from Kherson city because they are under pressure in Kherson city of Ukraine on southern front. But Russians want to create a pretext, so they'll try to launch a false flag operation, and they might blow up a dam as well. So both sides are claiming that a false flag operation is going to be launched by the other party, and most probably the operation, whether by Russia or by Ukraine, will be staged on southern front, somewhere in Kherson, Mykolaiv. So coming days crucial for this war. Both sides are making conflicting claims about other sides' intentions. Thirdly, viewers, Boris Johnson, who resigned in August this year, has decided not to run for UK's PM race, which is ongoing because Boris Johnson was removed, rather he resigned in August, and Liz Truss was elected as the new Prime Minister. But Liz Truss could work for only 44 days, and 2 days ago she announced to resign. Now, Conservative Party is going to elect new leaders who will obviously be a Prime Minister of the country as well. Rishi Sunak is the main candidate now. Boris Johnson was in the race as well. He wanted to contest election for the PM once again, but reportedly he could not secure the support of 100 Conservative MPs, which was mandatory for him to run in this race for the Prime Minister of UK. So he is out of the race, and now reportedly Rishi Sunak is the strongest candidate so far. By Friday, new Prime Minister will be elected, and obviously the PM would be from Conservative Party, the party which won last general election. 2 years to go before UK will hold next election, general election. The opposition is demanding that a fresh election should be held and Prime Minister should have fresh mandate. But Conservative Party is once again trying to elect new party leader to lead the country. Party is in crisis. UK as a whole in crisis as well due to inflation, rising food prices, rising energy prices. Economy is under pressure, and governments are finding it difficult in the EU to perform. People are angry. People are out in the streets in London. in France, in Germany, in Italy. We have seen massive demonstrations against governments in recent weeks. Lastly, viewers, Donald Trump wants to run for the president of the US once again. The man, though controversial, but he attracts public attention. And in the US, we know that next month midterm elections will be held. And Donald Trump has announced that he might run for the next president of the US in 2024. At the end of 2024, in November, presidential election will be held in the US, and Donald Trump wants to run for this race once again. He lost to Joe Biden in the last presidential election. He served for only one term. His predecessor, Barack Obama, served for 2 terms. Will Republicans choose Donald Trump as their next presidential candidate? That is also a question. 2 years to go, but Donald Trump has announced that he might run in 2024 presidential election. Take a listen to what he said. Thank you for watching.
I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first. Getting millions more votes in 2020 than we got in 2016. And likewise getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country by far. And now, in order to make our country successful, safe, and glorious again, I will probably have to do it again.